Hello. I know I'm late. I am so late. I sat here and fell asleep. And then having some technical difficulty getting on. Come on, what's going on? Clean up here. There we go. I'm having some technical difficulty on my online today. And I'm late coming on. Hopefully I can get some people on here. They probably said something going on with Corey. And it was. I fell asleep and forgot. So then watching Sunday Night Football. Woke up, looked and said, oh shoot, it's past time. I was went live. Now I'm here. Hopefully I get some people in. Hope my buddies can join me. And I'm so sorry. It just one of these. I'm running late. Hopefully I can get some people to join me. We're going to talk about the 49ers win today. And we can talk about other teams that won and lost. Talk about our Week 5 pick'ems. I see I got one viewer. I don't know who it is yet. Can't see. It's David. I'll be right there, Corey. Okay. Whew, David. You know, I fell asleep. Ooh, coming in.
What's up, Corey?
Hey, John Jay.
What's up?
Man, I fell asleep watching Sunday Night Football game, forgot. And then looked up and said, oh, it's almost 7:30. Oh, darn it. I'm supposed to be going live.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That happens to the best of us sometimes.
And
it happens to me like I'm relaxing, and I'm just like, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna lay down on my bed, and then I just pass out, and then like an hour later I wake up. Hate that.
I was sitting in my chair like this watching TV, and then say bye to my niece and all that stuff. I looked and I said, I woke up and was like, oh man, it's almost 7:30. I'm supposed to be going live. What I'm doing now? And then my computer was taking a long time to come on and taking a hard time to get on. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yep.
Said, oops. Yeah, I'm haven't been sleeping good. And when I go to bed,
oh wow,
waking up, just being up, then I get up, get in my chair, then I'll be watching TV and fall asleep.
Damn. Did you suffer from insomnia, or you just having trouble sleeping?
I'm just having trouble right now. I don't know what it is. My sister said she's gonna bring me some mess that will put me to sleep.
Yeah,
it might be too because I'm having surgery again on October 28th. They found another kind of tumor. Not tumor. I'm sorry. Cancer.
Yeah, I lost my aunt that way. It sucked. I remember, yeah. Yeah, basically, I remember I lost my aunt's her mom. So yes, I lost her the following year. I lost my aunt, and then the following year, I lost like a little brother of mine. He was like this little neighborhood kid, younger than me. Good kid. He was the brightest kid, and I consider him family. And so that was tough. And then this summer, a few of my friends that I grew up with, they passed away early. So it's tough. It's tough. So hopefully you're all right, man. Hopefully everything's good. Hopefully the doctors take care of you because sometimes some doctors are a little bit, you know, but hopefully they do their best to take care of you because
Yeah.
you're a big part of my community, and so I'm rooting for you, man.
Yeah. Yep. This game we suffered a lot of injuries in this game. We won it, but had to suffer a lot of injuries.
Like I'm still confused about Emmanuel Mosley. I know in the last drive of the game, Emmanuel Mosley collided with the receiver of Carolina, and I saw Emmanuel Mosley on the ground. Then they took an injury timeout. They came back, and Emmanuel Mosley was walking like he put his helmet down. He was a little bit slow. I thought he just got the wind knocked out of him. And then David came on my stream and he said that he heard from Matt Mayoko or David Lombardi that uh, that Kyle Shanahan said that it might be an ACL, and I hope it's not an ACL.
Yeah.
But anyway, like if it's an ACL, then like
Boot through. God bless you.
Yeah, he's the guy
Sir
from Jay and the
Corey.
Bass Channel.
God is with you. Every trip, stop, step of the way. Keep looking up. Yep. Thank you, Blue True.
Yeah, I see him on Jay and the Bay stream.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Jay and the Bay stream for a few minutes talking to him, and I asked him if he can stop by my channel because he's a very busy dude.
Yep.
Yep.
What's my dog's barking at?
Probably it sets those raccoons because those raccoons at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. He went up for a pass and he just bumped into it and it came down on his leg.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man. And then him and then Nick Bosa with growing injury. And then Robbie Gold. I'm like, man, what you barking at, buddy?
Something scaring that dog because dogs don't bark unless they're scared.
Yep. Trying to wait David to get in here.
Yeah, I'm shocked. David said he was gonna hop on in. Oh, here we go. Yeah, gotta work on my thumbnail for my show tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm doing good on the picks this week.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I'm surprised the Giants beat Green Bay. I'm like, man.
Yep.
Let me. Hoping he get in soon so I can. I want to go check and see what my dog barking at, but I'm waiting. Yeah, I picked Denver Broncos and they. Oh, that was a weak game.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry game. I'm like, man. Then I picked, the Green Bay, and they lost to the Giants.
Yeah, YTC, he's happy.
Yep.
I should have went with my gut. My gut was telling me the Giants were going to win, but
yeah, mine too.
But because I was worried about the Giants, their inexperience, so far,
mm-hmm.
and I thought the Packers were a good team. I was like, you know what? So that was my mistake. So that was an error. Yeah, the Broncos should have won. So and the Colts are trash. And then the Saints game, I said that was a trap game. I had the Seattle. Seattle put 32, but they still lost 39. The Saints are overrated. Like, come on, wow, you're giving up 32 points to Geno Smith. So we'll see what happens next week.
I picked Saints and they won.
Yeah.
I picked Miami and they didn't even lose on their quarterback. Another quarter. Dang. And they lost.
Yeah.
Jets won.
Yeah. I chose the Jets, so I still felt the Jets were going to win, even with Teddy Bridgewater. Buccaneers, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was the only person that chose the Texans. I chose Dallas, and then
I lost that. And I chose us, and we won. I chose Dallas, we won.
Mm-hmm.
Won. Chose Arizona, we won.
Arizona lost.
I chose Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, TRL was so angry. He was like so angry his team lost.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go check the game. Actually, I can just turn it on. If the Ravens win, I'm 10-4, and if the Chiefs wins, I'm 11-4. I could have been 11-3 if I would have chose the Giants. I mean 12-3. Niners won, so I was happy.
Yeah, we got a lot of injuries. I guess look like we're going to find us another field goal kicker, a kickoff.
So Baltimore is winning right now.
Yep.
Let's see how much time is left. 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. So we'll see if Ravens win. I know a bunch of people are going to be mad if the Ravens win.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally do not care. That's their feud, not mine.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I got Kansas City though. Hope they beat the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kansas City should beat the Raiders. Like, I don't know how the Raiders, well, the Broncos, after losing to the Raiders and losing to the Colts, two teams who are not good, the Broncos are frauds. We should have beaten the Broncos.
Yep.
And we shouldn't beat the Bears as well, but we should be undefeated right now. Because our defense has been playing lights out. It's just the injuries are catching up. Like Jimmy Garoppolo is finally getting a rhythm. He played good. I'm not going to lie. He did good. Yes, in the first possession, he almost had an interception.
Yep.
And then he forced the ball to Debo early and again. That could have been an interception. But after those mistakes, Jimmy was perfect. The receivers were dropping the ball. George Kittle fumbled the football.
Yep. I was like, oh my goodness, we having trouble. We struggling.
Yep. Carolina, they're frauds. Like if Matt Rule is not fired before the end of the year, that owner does not know what he's doing. Yep. It's sad that Nick Bosa could miss next week from
Yeah.
the groin. It's not fun.
And then our Jimmy Ward break his hand in the first comeback. I'm like, man, why is this happening to us? Why can't we get all these injuries?
3rd and short. See, if Cincinnati scores a touchdown, they'll take the lead. But Baltimore will have time to go down the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like basically, I should have went with the Colts, but the Broncos, I went by the numbers, and the number said pick the Broncos, so I made that mistake. I should have went with the Giants. Okay, the Browns and the Chargers were a toss up, and the Seahawks and the Saints were toss ups. You know, those are some toss ups. Yeah.
What's up? Sorry,
Yeah,
fellas. I've been talking to I was on Niner Gang Wolfgang for a minute. He's a small content creator too.
Yeah.
And,
I was seeing that. I thought I got thinking that he's live, but I was like, oh man, I fell asleep. Sitting here, fell asleep and forgot that I was supposed to be going live at 7 o'clock. I'm like, oh no, I'm late.
but yeah, and I've been talking to the lady. I actually had 2 dates yesterday, but the lady I went out with during the nighttime, I ended up staying out with her till like 3 a.m. And it was actually a really good date. I like her.
Cool.
nice.
Oh boy.
So, how did you do on the pick'ems?
Well, right now I am 8-6 going into this game, rooting for the Ravens, but we'll see what happens.
And 10-4 going into this game. Is this game when I'm 11-4, then Monday night when I go 12-4.
Yeah, if the Ravens keep the lead and the Chiefs win, I'm 11-4 because of course I don't choose the Niners because that's a conflict of interest. So
we got a lot. You see that we have a lot of injuries, Dave, in this game. We won the game, but Price. And see, this guy I'm wearing right now, he's hurt.
But yeah, freaking. So I got sorry, I'm still texting her. I got 6 losses. It's the Cowboys and the Rams. I made the mistake of picking the Rams. I don't know if I'm going to pick them again anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans beat the Jags, which that was a divisional matchup. You know, that was could have gone either way, but I honestly thought the Jags would have pulled that one out. That's interesting. The Finns lost to the Jets, but I didn't see the Finns losing Teddy Bridgewater like they did. So
I still felt the Jets were going to win even with Teddy Bridgewater.
But I mean, the Colts and the Broncos, man, that game was trash. Oh my goodness!
Like
Corey, I actually fell asleep watching the game. That's how bad it was.
Oh yeah, you were on the stream. Like my mistake was going by the numbers, and numbers said that a 59% chance the Broncos were going to win because I didn't know who to pick. I really did not know who to pick. If I would have just like went with my gut and just chose randomly the Colts because they were coming off a good victory, I said, all right, you know what? Let me take the Colts. I don't think it's going to happen. And my gut felt that the Giants were going to win, but because I felt they were inexperienced and they have not, been tested, they lost to the Cowboys, and I went for the Packers. So if I would have chosen the Colts and the Giants, I think I would only have 2 losses right now. But I'm not doing by the numbers no more. I'm gonna go with my gut. So the Bengals just scored. There's 2 minutes 33 seconds for the Ravens to take the lead and win the game. So we'll see what happens.
They scored. I saw. I think they thought they scored. I think the D was down. I think they're gonna take the score back.
Yeah.
And they don't have to go for it again.
Yeah.
Because his knee was down.
Yeah.
So he's short.
So I'm trying to get 2K by the end of the year. So I'm doing a little 2K challenge for my fans to spread the word. If you guys have like social media, or if you guys have any like Facebook or Instagram groups or Twitter groups, if I can get 2,000 subscribers, I'm doing a massive giveaway, 10 people. So spread the word. I've told Shifty to help me out. He's doing his part. So 10 giveaways. Just remember, all you guys will be eligible. And then this afternoon, something popped in my head. So I'm going to do something so I can get like more memberships. So, help me out. Because YouTube played me yesterday. They took away the monetization, not just for my channel, but millions of channels. So I did not monetize my video until last night at 10 o'clock. But luckily, Tommy Huxley dropped $2. That's how much I make per video. And I got a membership. So, and there's some new features on my channel. Now people can, join the membership more easily on my chat. And also I enabled something called GIFs. So I don't know what that is. Because I'm trying to go a little rough patch right now. I'm not working constantly, so trying to get some extra cash to pay my bills. So,
yeah, it was short.
Touchdown.
Yeah, down now.
Yeah, touchdown. So they got to kick the extra point to take the lead, but the Ravens are going to get the ball. I think the Ravens are going to get the last possession.
Yeah.
So I'm counting on the Ravens to do a miracle. I know if the Bengals win, I really don't care, but there's going to be a lot of people who will be so excited for the Ravens to lose because one of YTC's friends and another dude, they're betting that the Ravens are not going to make the playoffs. Yep.
All right. Monday night is now. The Bengals are about to take the lead on an extra point. The refs are saying something. I'm going to mute it so I can listen. Okay, that's weird. So the play takes 5 seconds, and the refs just said that the play took 2 seconds.
So
they literally put a couple seconds on the clock for the Ravens, but whatever.
Whatever.
And here comes the extra point. Miss it! Come on, miss it!
It went through.
Oh!
It barely.
It
barely got it.
I think you're ahead of me, but barely.
Yeah. Just a few seconds. No, just a few seconds. Yep. Oh, that ball was going out, and I don't know what happened. In the last second, it curved and went through.
Oh my goodness, that is so close. Okay, so the the side of the ball on the inside went through, so that counts, right?
Yeah.
Wow, he almost pulled a Jimmy. I mean, he almost screwed that up.
Jeez.
Oh, here's my man. I was just about to say something, and here he is, Brian. I was about to say
Perfect
about
timing.
specialty.
Perfect timing.
Hey,
Hello,
everybody.
Brian.
How are you guys tonight?
Good.
David, long time no see.
Yep.
Yep,
Just-
I got my girls settled and I'm ready to come back and talk 49ers with everybody.
Nice.
Yeah. So how did you do on the pick'ems so far? How you doing so far?
Well, I'm not very confident right now. I haven't counted everybody's loss, but usually, you know, like when I have a gut feeling, I start saying something, I'm like, hi. We were talking about the Packers. My uncle was in London today.
Mm,
That I thought they were gonna win, man. I really did. Um, I don't know. Maybe Dallas has to really start worrying about the Giants because they seem to be a little bit more solid than what I'm giving them credit for. Um, and like what Miami lost today too, right?
Yep.
And then,
yep.
the Chargers won, so I picked the Chargers. The Niners, I picked them. I always pick them. Yeah, I'm gonna count everything up, and when you have your calling show, you know, later this week, I'll have my numbers for you. But yeah, I don't think I did that good. I really don't think I did that good today.
Yeah.
Oh, I went for Detroit, and the Patriots shut him out. You know,
Yep.
but I did say I wouldn't be surprised with the Patriots. And I know the Cardinals lost. I wouldn't be surprised with the Cardinals if they would have won. You know, that would have been a statement game for them, but they didn't do it. I did say the Saints would win. I know that, you know, and because I don't like rooting for division games. So, man, 38 points. Seahawks are getting scary, aren't they?
Like I wanted to say something. That was my trap game of the week. Usually, I always go with the team that's favored, but for whatever the reason, my gut told me the Seahawks were going to win, and everyone was goofy with me. No, the defense of the Saints is way better, and I said, well, how many touchdowns did Geno Smith had? 3 touchdowns. How much they had the lead, and then the Saints at the last moment, you know, got the lead at the end. I was right. The Seahawks team, they're competing. They're competing. We'll see what happens as the year goes on. But if Geno Smith and this team, which is like very inexperienced, finds a way to have a competent record, not a bad, like a competent record, maybe Russell Wilson was overrated and Pete Carroll was the mastermind of us, you know, losing. So we'll see. We'll see.
I definitely think Pete Carroll is the mastermind on why we were losing, but regardless, Russell Wilson's elusive. He might not be that elusive in Denver right now, but one thing, if Geno Smith keeps playing the way he's playing, he'll probably be the Seahawks quarterback next year.
Don't tell no that.
Oh yes, like Steezy, you know, he's a good dude, but he's like he's too homer. And Noah or Squabo is like he's off everywhere. Like you can't tell if he's a homer or he's a hater. But Steezy was telling that he showed me a photo of Geno Smith has the best overall quarterback stats out of all the quarterbacks in our division. And he basically put like a little PowerPoint and explained everything. And I said, okay, Geno Smith has been playing good. I'm not doubting that he's, you know, awful, but this is like the Geno Smith that everybody said he was supposed to be coming out of college. Don't know why it took until he's 32 years old now and going to a team that was supposed to be horrible for him to finally break out. So yeah, Geno Smith, like I knew he was gonna be like the guy just gonna ride the ship for this year, and then he was gonna be, you know, let go, and then they would have drafted someone like that Ohio State quarterback or the Alabama quarterback. I don't know all the quarterbacks that are coming out yet, But maybe Geno Smith, they'll keep him for another year. They'll draft the quarterback, develop him. So it's a win-win for them.
Yeah. But right now we are in the lead off division.
Yeah, we're in first place. We're looking really pretty right now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're
but this is injuries. You know, Robbie Gold getting hurt.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Robbie Gold.
I was on another stream with David, and I was talking to. I don't think he needs to be making the kicks. So we were talking just a little while ago, and I think maybe potentially there was a gap, misalignment, misaligning. Somebody wasn't in formation where they should have been at, because there shouldn't be any reason that player is getting back there where Robbie has to, chest bump him or make the tackle. So,
well, it's like I said. Let's see what adjustments happen between this and next week. I mean, we have a new special teams coordinator, and he's supposed to be better than Hightower.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Oh, nice! The Ravens with a big run.
Oh,
yeah.
All they have to do is get it in the field. Oh, the Cincinnati has 3 timeouts to prolong everything.
They got timeouts, but I don't know when they're going to start to use them. And the Ravens are not going to be like on hurry because they're trying to get like 4 seconds left to kick the game-winning field goal. Oh, what a great misdirection! I thought the receiver had the ball, and then Lamar. Oh man, no wonder. Lamar is good. Like I know he gets criticized for the way he plays, but Lamar Jackson said the thing. My job is to win football games the way I want to win football games. He said I'm not going to play like the norm, and that's why the Ravens, for like since 2008, have been very successful under Harbaugh, because Harbaugh lets his coaches and his players play football the way they're supposed to. Because besides Bill Belichick, he's the longest coach. Basically, he and Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick are the longest head coach in the NFL.
I think the Steelers are the Ravens are trying to take the Steelers mentality by like not cutting their coach super early and trying to keep the same chemistry, the philosophy, because like you said, he's been their coach for a while now. And when you look at the Steelers organization, they've only had a few coaches. And when you only have a few coaches, you don't have the same turnover. You might not have every good season, but you have the same mentality. You develop your scheme. Everybody fits in line, or they don't fit in. And John Harbaugh, he's definitely been a very good coach for the Ravens. And sad to say they beat us, but if anyone could beat us, he at least he did it. Jim and John. I mean, how many people can say that they've had 2 brothers play each other in the Super Bowl? That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, let me watch the next play. They're almost at the 30. Lamar runs it again. All right. The Bengals just took the final timeout. It is 3rd down. So it doesn't really matter.
Almost first down, man.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter what happens after this play, because there's no more timeouts. They cannot ice the kicker. So if I'm Baltimore, I'll try to get a first down to make the kick as easy as possible. And I know Justin Tucker is a great kicker. I think he's the best kicker in the NFL right now. But you want to make it as easy as possible for your kicker to get the best opportunity to win. If Lamar Jackson pulls like a rabbit out of his hat and runs it all the way for a touchdown, that's just an A+. So,
yeah, Justin Tucker is probably the best kicker in the league. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I drafted him in my fantasy league.
Yeah, I
personally
31.
Let's see what they do.
And they got the first down, so it doesn't really matter. So the clock is going to tick down to
first down.
They're going to take a timeout because there'll be 1 second, and then if they take the penalty, it'll be 5 yards back. So it was like waste of a first down. So we'll find out if the Ravens, win, or if the Bengals will just barely steal it at the end. Because the Ravens, have been blowing a lot of games this year.
Well, I think, like you said, Lamar wants to win his way, but I think it depends on his mechanics. And I think if Walsh was his quarterback coach or his head coach, I don't think he would probably have him, or he would have him on the bench for several years, like Steve Young. When he does throw the ball, he does seem to throw it high, but it comes down at the ground. So a lot of times the receivers will have to like reach down below their knees or around, at their ankles to try to catch it. And it's a very fast, it's like a pitch, kind of like Kaepernick was doing. I think he throws this ball like with the 2 seconds for the wide receiver to do anything with it. He has to have that time to react. He's throwing a good ball, but he's not giving his wide receivers enough time to adjust and make that, catch. I think
Well,
that's his downfall.
But he doesn't throw it to the wide receivers. Like last year,
All right.
like hold on. All right, hold on 1 second.
Here we go.
All right, I am now 10-4. All right,
Bam.
all right. Here we go.
It's up and it's good.
All right, so I am now 10-4. I should have been 12-2 right now. But anyway, that doesn't matter. All right. So Lamar Jackson has a better pass completion than Kaepernick. You look at his numbers. He's a 64% passer. Kaepernick was barely in the 60s. So two different types of quarterbacks. Okay. Lamar, when he was in college, was a good pocket passer because Louisville, they still rely, and he was a 70% passer in college, but just like in the NFL, he runs the football a lot. So there's a common misconception of Lamar Jackson. He's not Kaepernick. He's way better. Now, yes, he overthrows his passes, but one of the things he does is that he throws the ball to his tight ends. He's more comfortable in using the intermediate throws, but he can throw the deep ball. Does he do it all the time? Of course not. So what I've always felt that Lamar should have been drafted in the top 10, but because the stereotype, black quarterback, all he wants to do like Michael Vick, yada yada. I don't know why people are the way they are about that. I personally don't care about that stuff. Some people are going to be like that, but at the end of the day, Lamar was a good prospect. The same thing with Justin Fields. Justin Fields should have been drafted in the top 5, but everyone made excuses for Justin Fields. Oh, you don't want to draft him. It's just unfortunate that the Bears were so desperate to give up their future pick to the Giants and they jumped up there. I feel bad for Justin Fields. He doesn't fit the system. And if he does pan out, they're not going to win because the team has their problems. So it's just stupid how there's a dumb notion. And again, your quarterback still has to be playing the pocket. I get that, but your quarterback needs to understand that the pass rushers and defensive line are more faster, bigger, and more dangerous than it was back in the day. Because so and now the kids, when they get drafted, they're immediately, it's a business now. So that's why we're seeing more and more bust, and why teams draft quarterbacks when they're horrible, because it used to be you draft a running back and then you fill the rest of your team, because that's how football was. Now it's about the quarterbacks. That's why, what's his name? Jim Trotter from the NFL Network. I spoke to him one time, but I've never had him on my show. And he said this: since the Cam Newton draft, 90% of quarterbacks drafted in the top 5 are missed. 75% of quarterbacks drafted in the top 15 are missed. Quarterbacks that fall after the 20th pick or the first playoff team, those are the quarterbacks that have success early because the team is already built around. That's the thing why Mac Jones landed at the best spot, because as long as Mac Jones has Bill Belichick, the defense is always going to be good. Look at Blake, what's his name? Blake Zappi or whatever Zappi, whatever his first name. The defense destroyed, annihilated the Lions. So it really shows you that's why Mac Jones is going to be successful. But once Bill Belichick leaves, his defensive coaches have been horrible once they have gone to other teams. So,
Yep.
anyway,
I think you're right. Once Belichick retires or goes somewhere, because he's going to retire, and it's the same thing kind of with Pete Carroll. Both teams are going to be horrible. Those are the two. Those are the two. That's it. Your franchise. Once they go, you better be ready to plug and play, and they're not. They're not going to be ready.
yeah.
You don't find players like or coaches like that every day.
Yep. So now I have 10 victories. So the Chiefs have to save me because if not, I will be under.
Yeah, I got 11 victories right now. Oh, I need to do the Chiefs win tomorrow.
So
Monday night, I'll be good.
10-4. First time I've kept score of my pick'ems because usually I really don't care. Yeah. So.
Hey, they're talking to the hero of the game, the kicker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Ravens are a very, very young organization. Like they've had 3 coaches. Their first coach, I don't know who he was. He was there for like 2 years, and then Brian Billick, from I think 99 all the way to like 2007, and then you have Harbaugh. Harbaugh has had like I think only like 2 losing seasons. Like he's always had a winning record. So
I can't believe he, still employs Greg Roman. I mean, at some point, you guys are going to kill Lamar Jackson. So it's just like, you got to figure Lamar's been in the league a couple of years. He can if he can't throw the ball, then he's you guys are going to kill him. So it's time to get an offensive coordinator that's going to, promote him throwing the ball and not running it, only running it when he has to, which is what we need to do with Trey Lance. But, this is all on Kyle. Did he learn I hope he, I 100% hope, nothing but the best for Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes back, I hope Kyle does the right thing and doesn't call run plays. Tells him, use your legs if you need to, but look to throw the ball.
So, again, I'm looking at Lamar's stats. Like his worst game was against the Jets, and they beat the Jets. He had a 57% completion, 213 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He still had 3 passing touchdowns. Okay, and he threw an interception. Okay. Miami, which is best game, 21 of 29. Again, good completion percentage, 318 yards. So I'm not sure where the notion of Lamar is not throwing the football. So where is that? The evidence, the numbers speak for itself. 3 touchdowns, no interception. The highest passer rating is 57 point something, 142.6. He was not sacked. All right. He still had 9 carries, 119 yards. So again, where is the problem? Good numbers. Okay, let's go to the New England game. His second worst game of the year, 62% pass, 218 yards, 4 touchdowns. He threw an interception. Where's the problem? I'm trying to say 110 passer rating. Okay, he was sacked 4 times because Bill Belichick's defense is good. Still 11 carries, 107 yards, a touchdown. So, and then last week against the Bills are a good team. 69% completion. He's throwing the football 29 times, throwing the football. Where is this notion? His poor output, 144 yards, and then he had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Okay, so he's throwing the football. You don't get 2 interceptions if you're not throwing the football. Okay, had 11 carries, 73 yards. Okay, now yes, you don't want your quarterback to carry the ball 11 times, which is understandable. But where is Lamar cannot throw the football?
Well, I think the problem again is it's not that he can't throw the football. I think it's his targeting, and sometimes it's his range. And if you watch a Ravens game, and I'm sure we've all watched a great Ravens game with him playing, he's a very, very talented quarterback. He's very talented, but sometimes his mechanics, he throws the ball, and I've said it. I'll say it again. I'll say it forever until I start seeing him change it. I don't hate the guy, but sometimes when he throws the ball, it's a laser, but it's going towards the guy's ankles or it's going towards the guy's, knees. And the wide receiver or the tight end has to make an adjustment. And it's almost like you see him, yeah, it's like when you watch him play football, you're like, wow, the guy's got like all the strength in his arm. And then he throws the ball and it gets to the wide receiver, the intended target, but it's just maybe not in the necessarily spot. But because it was thrown so fast, the wide receiver better catch it because it's right there on his hands. So when the ball's right there on the hands, it's got to be the wide receiver's fault, right? Well, no, not necessarily because it's a 50-50 throw. If you throw the ball 1 second late or 1 second too early, if you throw it to the left and the guy's actually going to the right and he has to make the adjustment, all that has to be, adjusted. All of that. And I think sometimes when you watch him, it's not like he's drunk out there playing football, but sometimes it's like maybe because he's scrambling too much, maybe he doesn't get his feet underneath him. And I think this is like what I said before. Bill Walsh probably would have set him for a long time before he put him out there in the game. He's got all the athletic, abilities, but he doesn't have the mechanics down. And maybe nowadays we don't need the mechanics, but like Mahomes, him, there's a lot of quarterbacks, Allen. There's a lot of quarterbacks that don't throw like they used to throw, where you drop back 7 steps and you bring the ball above your head and you fire it. No, these guys are throwing sidearm. They're throwing, by their belly. They're throwing, when they're falling down. And yeah, they're just trying to be athletic, but that's not what Bill Walsh wanted. So I think again, like the mechanics, when you look at him and you're watching him play football, he gets the job done, but that's not necessarily what you want in a quarterback. And I think that's where he gets knocked at.
And see, my argument for that, and again, I'm not arguing, but like my counterpoint, I think that's a more better way. My counterpoint is that, of course, Lamar Jackson has a very weird delivery. I watched him, but he still sets himself up. And again, I coach now. Yes, I don't coach Lamar, but I know how to coach. I played baseball before, and I'm so glad that a tennis coach instructor, he's a good private coach, but he also is a community service worker for the company that I work in. In baseball, I'm going to use my expertise. In baseball, your body is turned sideways, and the same thing when it comes to a football player throwing the football. It's the same mechanics. That's why people who've played sports can play football, can play baseball, and can play tennis, which is weird. But in basketball, it's the same thing. When you're shooting a basketball, your body is turned to the side. So Lamar is doing that. Okay, is doing that. Just like any shooter, your body is turned to the side when you shoot a basketball. Okay, no one shoots a basketball with their body facing the basket. They shoot the ball with their body to the side. The same thing with a baseball player, body to the side. Football player, when they're throwing the football, body to the side. Okay, so when you're delivering any type of ball, your body is delivering. He has the mechanics of that. He does not throw the ball like when Patrick Mahomes is running around and he just flings it sidearm. Josh Allen does the same thing. When he's running and he has to throw the ball, he throws the ball sidearm. Okay, so that's why. But Lamar Jackson, when he throws the ball sidearm, he never throws the ball like facing it at the pocket. When he's running out of bounds and he turns his body, he's turning his body when he's up in the out of bounds area. Watch the tape. All the other quarterbacks throw the ball sidearm where they're behind the pocket. So Lamar, when he runs out and throws the ball sidearm, there's no one pass rushing him. The ball still comes out crazy, but Lamar still delivers the ball when his body is turned perfectly. So all I'm saying, to keep it simple for those who did not understand what the hell I say, Lamar has the mechanics.
Well, he has the athleticism, John, but he doesn't have the mechanics because the mechanics is drop back 7 steps, fire the ball over your helmet. He's getting rushed and then he's moving out. The same thing with the pitcher. The
I'll be
pitcher
back.
gets the ball in his glove.
I'll be back. I gotta use the restroom.
Okay. The same thing with the pitcher. The pitcher gets the ball in his glove and he grips it and he fires it. But he's not running around. And that's the type of your athleticism is your maneuverability. Your mechanics is standing there and doing it over and over. And I think that's what like if Lamar was asked to stand there 10 times and throw the ball into the end zone at the same spot, the way he's going to fire the ball with his arm, you're going to get 10 different throws. They might all go to the same spot, but they're going to be 10 different throws. And I think that's like the difference between like what Bill Walsh wanted in a quarterback and what, like nowadays quarterbacks are getting away with because, Bill wanted precision. He wanted everything to come out the same way. Right now, they just want the ball to come out and get to the wide receiver so the wide receiver can make a play.
It doesn't matter if you're a kindergartner or if you're Tom Brady. The mechanics of throwing a ball does not change. It doesn't change because someone says, and I'm a coach. So if anyone's going to argue with me about coaching, with all due respect, don't try to do it. The mechanics of throwing any type of ball, any type of thing that you're throwing, okay, you have to have the mechanics, okay? And I've seen a lot of kids, I've seen a lot of high schoolers that have had the mechanics, but were a little bit sketchy. But guess what? I had them out there. I had great athletes who had the perfect 100% mechanics, and they were wild. And I want to bring up a good point. Like, there were moments, and of course, I was not alive, but Joe Montana had some bad mechanics when he threw the ball. Like, nothing came out clean. Same thing with Steve Young. Never came out. Like, we put these two great quarterbacks. Like, they never make no mistakes. Okay, Joe Montana, Steve Young did the same thing Jimmy does. They throw the ball short a lot, but most people recognize the big throws and the big plays. So, Montana and Young under the same West Coast offense, a lot of their throws were a lot of short stuff. It's just that for whatever the reason, with the new quarterbacks, they want Jimmy to throw the ball 10 times deep and 10 times short. Unfortunately, Jimmy will always throw 3 to 5 deep balls. Probably 50% of those will be catched or incomplete, but Jimmy does his job at the intermediate. Every quarterback throws the ball intermediate. He gets a very harsh criticism. But back to Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying Lamar has the perfect touch. I'm not saying Lamar, everything comes out. Like, basically, the throw window is that face guard, the metal thing in front of the mask, the helmet, and the chest. No quarterback ever hits the point of contact. So I don't want.
But there's certain quarterbacks, and we can call them off of our fingers or at the top of our head really quickly. Jeff Garcia, Alex Smith. There's certain players that seem to throw dirt balls, and Lamar Jackson's getting close to being a dirt ball thrower. He's very athletic, but when he flings the ball, and sometimes it's erratic, and it's because of his mobility. It's because of his footsteps. And I know you're a coach, but it does boil down to your footsteps, your hips, and your feet work have a lot to do with how the ball is thrown. So with him, being a wild player and being athletic does not necessarily put you in the best position. You have a good quarterback, but you have somebody more like, let's just say Mullins, who goes in and he just drops back and throws it because, he's all in seconds. He's just thinking about the timing. He's not trying to sidearm it. He's not trying to do anything. He's just dropping back and flinging.
And great point that you brought up, that you're destroying. How many times did Nick Mullins make so many mistakes? A lot.
Well,
Made
did he
so many
make mistakes? Did he make mistakes because it was the other athlete who didn't run the route right? There's a bunch of things that they could
I
say.
remember watching the Washington, the team, the football, whatever they're called now, and where
I
you
just call
saw
him Washington.
you saw Mullins drop back, guy has no mobility. Chase Young ripped the ball out of him. He ripped the ball out of him and took it in. Took it in. That was very frustrating. This guy is a Kyle quarterback, supposed to be in the pocket, and you let a defender rip the ball. Lamar Jackson would have rolled out, avoid that, and if he had no one to throw, he would have ran out of bounds. So I don't want to anger myself because that play really pissed me off.
No, but you're making a good point. Does Shanahan want a quarterback that's going to overthink him?
So
And I don't think he does.
yeah, that is 100% true. Like I know fans want Jimmy and Trey to go off script. I want him to go off script, but Kyle, he's the head coach. We fans can get mad at it that he won't be like other coaches and let your quarterback improvise. But there are 31 other quarterbacks that have the permission to improvise, where they can change the play on the line. Jimmy and Trey, even with the little bit of time Trey has had, they have never been able to get permission to change up the play.
I don't see that they have that. I really don't believe they have it. And I think that the team knows they don't really have it's really Kyle. And I think that's why they don't give either one of the quarterbacks, like grief when the play doesn't go right, because they know they're just like them. They're just a teammate, a fellow member of the team. They're just trying to go out and win the game together, and they're listening to Kyle. And what do? You get mad at dad and mom because it doesn't go right, or you start throwing a fit and not want to do your chores and stuff. Then it just gets worse on you. So I think the whole team right now, Kyle's the daddy. You better listen to daddy.
Mm-hmm. But there's a reason why Bill Belichick has been so successful, and I'm not trying to compare apples and oranges, or I'm not even trying to compare a banana and a grape. I'm not even trying to do that. Bill Belichick is an intelligent, smart guy, okay, who the New York Giants had him. He went to the Cleveland Browns. That was a failure because that team, was going to be, like removed or whatever happened. He went to the Jets and he said, what, last minute. Then he went back to Bill Parcells, and then he took over the Patriots. And he's a great defense. Like he's the best defensive mind. And you go back to how long Bill Belichick, he's been coaching for almost 45 years in the NFL. There's a reason why, he's done what he's done, why he's won all the Super Bowls. And we can say Tom Brady, but Bill Belichick gave Tom Brady the first 3 Super Bowls was his great defense. Okay. A lot of those players are in the Hall of Fame. Okay. But Bill Belichick has a defensive coordinator, and Bill Belichick does not do nothing. He trusts his coaches to get the team ready. And when he sees something that his coaches are not doing, he sits down with his players. He does not yell at them. He says, this is not the Patriot way. Do you guys want to go back out there and do that again? And Bill Belichick, one time they put a microphone on him. This is before we're not trusting the media. But he says, guys, you guys do it in practice. I see you do it all the time. You guys are the best defense. The coaches are the best. He knows how to get in the player's mind and make them play at a high level. That's why Bill Belichick drafts good players. If they're able to get the 5th-year option to save a lot of money and bring in players, yada, yada, and draft. That's why for 4 or 5 years in a row, they traded their first round to get more second and third round picks because he's a smart man. Kyle will always do this. I'm the offensive guy. John Lynch, you draft the defense. You bring in the defense. And John Lynch has done a good job building that defense. Okay? Kyle Shanahan, on the other hand, in 2017 did not bring in his quarterback of the future. They brought in Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy did what he did. Jimmy got hurt. And the injury is always a bad thing. Finally, after the second stint of Jimmy getting hurt, he finally realized after 4 seasons he should have drafted a quarterback. So people are like, you're going to draft Mac Jones. Kyle Shanahan hates when people think you could read his mind. I'm not trying to say that Mac Jones was the right selection, because if it was Mac Jones, he would have drafted Mac Jones. He would not have said, all right, I'm going to let the fans and the media bully me to take Trey Lance or Justin Fields. He would have got Mac Jones if he wanted him so bad. If he wanted him so bad. He had an opportunity at 3. He didn't have to trade up to 3. And he decided to get a quarterback that was raw, but had the best potential to become a quality quarterback. So at the end of the day, if Bill Belichick, say hypothetically, would have came to the Niners in 1999 or 2000, he would have done the same goddamn thing he did in New England. And that's the difference from good coaches and bad coaches.
Well, I agree, but also having, a stable franchise, stable ownership helps. Like you see, like the Cowboys, they won their Super Bowls. We won our Super Bowls with stable ownership. Robert Kraft became the, owner of the Patriots, and he's been consistent. He's been the guy that's been able to say, this is what I want, and been, no one's going to change what he wants. The league has changed. So, like the Niners and the Cowboys have both been affected by the salary cap, but somehow the Patriots have been able to get away with that a little bit. And maybe that's maneuvering things or whatever. Maybe they've gotten help, whatever. But like you said, keeping the same coach and keeping the same owner, that really does have something to do with things. Al Davis, when he passed away, it probably really hurt the Raiders. When he was alive, it hurt the Raiders. But, he was the stable person in that organization. And now they're doing the same thing. The Chargers are doing the same thing because their owner passed away. So it does. If you have somebody that, believes in the team and they want the team to do everything they can, then the team seems to be good. But when you're going through different coaches, and like that's what happened with us. From a different ownership to different coaches, we couldn't get a good quarterback. You imagine if Aaron Rodgers would have been our quarterback, he probably would have got hurt his first season, like Alex Smith did. And then where would we be at? If Alex Smith would have had 4 years to be able to sit, he might have been better. But that's not what it's just not what happened. But again, back to what like Lamar Jackson, he's a great quarterback, but out of the top 3 quarterbacks, if you want to say he's one of the top 3, I'd say Allen. I'd say Mahomes, and then I'd say
who's here?
So
why?
Yo,
Hey.
Steve's in the building.
I finished the game. He's not live yet, but yeah, I'm just chilling here for a bit.
Okay.
But yeah, what's going on, fellas? How are you guys feeling after your victory against Carolina? You blew them
I'm
out.
10-4. I'm 10-4. Should have been 12.
Well, 9-6 for me. Well, I'm 9-6 in the picks right now.
Anyway,
9-6.
I'm 11.
I'm with you, YTC. I'm 9-6.
Yeah, but if the Chiefs win
Oh,
tomorrow,
hold on.
which is likely going to happen, I'll be 10-6.
I'm 11-4.
I'll finish with double digits tomorrow if I win. Yeah.
I'm not
John,
counting until tomorrow.
did you miss the game or something? Because you should be like, hold on.
Yeah, your total should result to 15 wins, like 15. I'm 9-6. 9 plus 6 is 15. Yeah, I'm 9-6.
You sure you ain't 11-4, which would be cooler than 10-4?
10-5 or 11-4. One of the two. It's one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 11-4 right now.
Oh, that's cool.
Corey?
All right, Corey. Good week this week. But yeah, I went 9-6. But yeah, I'm tomorrow's win away from going 10-6. But yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm not counting until tomorrow. I got a good feeling and a bad feeling of the teams I won and lost.
I mean, it's easy for me because I'm able to jot it down on a notebook. That's the only way I'm still old school to this day. I jot down the record on a notebook.
That's why I put the
on a piece of paper and pen on a notebook.
Should have been 12-2.
I just write it down.
Is what it is.
I gotta tell you, man, I'm happy that your team won, but I feel really bad about I feel really bad about my uncle. My uncle, my cousin, my aunt, they all were at the game today.
Yeah, they traveled to the UK. You told us, yeah.
Hey, they got to meet the players before the game.
Nice.
Hey, that's cool. I mean, I hope that's worth something. I mean, the game was actually close. Like, it's all the Packers and Giants games, they always come down to the wire. So I hope they got their money's worth.
Oh, I definitely do think they did because, again, they got to meet players. I don't know how many players they did, but I've seen pictures.
And it was close.
Getting, autographs and stuff. and I'm like, wow, and my aunt, she's wearing the Pro Bowl jersey of Brett Favre, blue. I don't know if that was it, because maybe when you go to a blue game, you should be wearing green with your team's green. But, but yeah, you guys, man, I thought for a second.
It's all good. That show's not till Wednesday. We're just doing the
Wednesday.
49ers show tonight.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
So like basically, like, I know fuck my stuttering shit.
But yeah, I won money today, so that's cool. That's also my big thing too.
All right.
I won some earlier.
All right. Let's see if I can do it. All right. So
with props, so yeah, receiving props and rushing and passing.
Simple, there we go. Just to keep it simple, like at the end of the day, Lamar does not have the best or the most.
Oh, you saw the game, okay?
Or perfect mechanics, but but with the mechanics that he's able to do, he's able to get the ball out, hit his receivers. What's wrong with me? Hit his receivers. And it's not going to be perfect because there's no perfect receiver, and Jimmy Garoppolo does not even hit his receivers in the point of contact.
I mean, stats are meaningless if they don't put you in positions to win. That's how I look at it.
The point of the matter is that if Lamar is getting the ball's being caught, even if it's not at the point of contact, even if it's a little bit late or a little bit too early. If the balls are being caught, you're moving the ball down the field. It's about getting the first down. It doesn't have to look pretty, but if you're going down the field and putting points on the board, fans are not going to care about the mistakes. The people who are going to care about the mistakes are, and no disrespect, ignorant, old traditional idiots who feel that quarterbacks have to play from behind the pocket. ITC knows this because Daniel Jones, he gets a lot of flack, but when his receivers are dropping the football, and he has no one wide open, he has to use his legs to run the football.
Yeah, exactly, because nobody can get separation. So when, as an audible, he can run for the first down or pick up a couple of chunk yards to play to the next down. That's the whole point and premise of putting yourself in a position to execute the drive.
He didn't look perfect. He didn't have a perfect passer ready. Wasn't perfect.
Yeah, he didn't have any sexy numbers like a Mahomes or Josh Allen or anything like that.
21 of 27, 218 yards, no touchdowns. They got the victory.
I mean, he did enough to win the game. That's what matters at the end. The throws he made are what put us in positions, to score and drive down the field and get the touchdown and what we needed.
Jimmy Garoppolo should have had 2 interceptions today, but it didn't happen. He had 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
And also the best thing, DJ wasn't careless today. He protected the ball. He was playing mistake-free football. That's what I want to see. I don't care if you don't throw for any touchdowns. I'd rather do that and make the throws that get us in positions to score than turn the ball over. That's all I want to see.
Yep.
That's what I want out of a franchise quarterback.
I was nervous every time Jimmy threw that ball. I was like, oh, boy. Here we go. Every time the ball went up in the air, I was like, oh, come on.
Whenever they're throwing the ball, I don't worry about DJ's throwing. I worry about the receiver catching because it's been the same case every year. I know DJ can get on the ball. It's just the receivers keep dropping.
And then when Tom Brady was playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
they almost choked that game.
He was throwing the ball worse than Lamar Jackson. But because he's Aaron Rodgers, a 3-time MVP, won a Super Bowl, they're going to give him flack. But when it comes to Lamar, they go a little bit harder at him. And I don't think it's a black-white thing. I just think that
no, it's not a black thing. It's just they're not used to mobile.
They just want Lamar to be in the pocket and throw the football in the pocket.
Yeah, these old school fans, they're not used to the traditional style of of new quarterbacks that are dual threats that can extend plays with their legs and get first downs every drive when nobody's open. They're not used to that type of quarterback, so it's going to take time for them to get used to it. Some of these old school heads.
Kyler Murray is known as a pocket quarterback because he throws the ball, but
he scrambles when he has to.
He runs more than Lamar Jackson. Like if you watch,
he does.
URL,
Nobody can get it.
So, remember, there's no perfect quarterback, and I'm a traditionalist. If your quarterback is winning football games, like say Kirk Cousins was with the Patriots, with that good defense, they would win the Super Bowl every year, unless
I agree
players get hurt because he's a good quarterback. But you put Kirk Cousins where he is right now with that defense, and they're 4-1. They're 4-1. But eventually, that defense is
Yeah.
going to have problems.
They would be 4-1 in New England because they have a competent quarterback and a great defense. It showed today in the Detroit game after they shut him out. Detroit had averaging 45 points going into this game on offense in the last 3 weeks, and they were shut down completely. So it goes to show you, once you have a competent quarterback and a good defense, you can beat anyone in the league, and you're able to have good coaching.
Yeah,
it's those three phases of football you win on.
And that's why Lamar Jackson is betting on himself. And there is a little bit of rumors that Lamar
What's up, Shifty?
is going to test the market and say a team says, "All right, we'll pay Lamar because he's worth it." Because like Lamar is not garbage.
No, Lamar's definitely not garbage. I have all respect for Lamar too.
So there's gonna be a lot of desperate teams with good defense. Hey, what if he goes to the Steelers? They have a good defense. Or say, let's see, what's a good team? Like, say,
think of a good team with a defense and coaching.
He lands in San Francisco because for whatever the reason, like Jimmy's gone, Trey's not ready. Now the Niners are not going to pay him $50 million because that's what he's looking for.
Hell no, because they have other addresses. The Niners have a lot of holes they have to fill up in the free agency coming up or by the deadline than to worry about a quarterback right now.
Okay. What if the Patriots do something so crazy and he goes to New England?
Oh, if Lamar goes to New England, they're making the Super Bowl. They're making the Super Bowl.
So the point of the matter
under Belichick.
I like your thoughts. I like your thoughts, but I don't think it's going to happen. They already had the Cam Newton experience. I don't think they're going to try to.
No, but here's the thing, though. In this part of his phase, Cam Newton was washed. I know.
I'm just saying, hypothetically, if the Patriots had an opportunity, to pick him up with Bill Belichick's defense, and Bill Belichick will hire the right coordinator to have his skills, but he will make him be in the pocket because he's a traditionalist. He's 70 years old. Yeah. He's like,
Here's the thing with Lamar. If he had a guy like Belichick, with Belichick, Belichick's a smart, head coach, and with a smart head coach comes, influence a smart quarterback. I think if he goes under Belichick, Lamar would be a much smarter quarterback, and with the skill set he has from a talent perspective, along with the skill set of a smart quarterback, that's very scary right there. Not gonna lie.
So at the end of the day, the Ravens know what they're doing. If they're able, like Joe Flacco, was not a great quarterback, but he won a lot of football games with the Ravens. But eventually, Flacco started to, he started to decrease. He wasn't the same. And they drafted this quarterback, the 32nd pick in the draft. And they went with this guy who was cheaper, better. But one thing about the Ravens that no one talks about is that they're willing to give up great talent to get draft picks and retool good players. Like Earl Thomas, good safety, had a lot of legal issues. They let him go. A few years later, they drafted Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame, the best safety and the number 2 prospect on my draft board. So at the end of the day, like the Ravens, like, hey, if he wants too much money, we can get someone cheaper, better, and we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Well, Shifty says, hey, everyone, great win. But what cost? Hopefully, at least both Ward and Gold cannot come back. Top of the West is enough. Yep. That game, we suffered a lot of injuries. We won, but we suffered a lot of injuries. And we're on top of our division. But it cost us.
So many Niners content creators, like
I had to let these Eagle fans know. I just texted an Eagles fan right now. That was a good win, but we're still catching up to you.
BPS was right. He predicted it. We got to give BPS credit.
Well, CB has credit after week 14 when we stopped that ass when we play him.
Well, we got Atlanta next week.
Atlanta, yeah, that's Atlanta ain't no slouches on offense really.
All right, so
Atlanta's no slouches.
So my video I posted almost 2 hours ago has 48 views. That's good.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just uploaded my pick 'em. I just got like 20 views in the first minute so far. I'm waiting now.
I think as everyone, maybe tomorrow,
Yeah, that's when the views count. Yeah, I'm used to it. Yeah,
well,
that's when I'll get like 500 overnight.
I'm not lucky like I used to be, where I would post a video quick and the numbers will like soar. Now,
yeah, this is why I create a routine. When to upload pick'ems, when to do graphics and stuff like that. I run a routine. That's how I run like a well-oiled machine. That's how I'm able to make scheduling. I know how to manage my time. So yeah, I've learned as I got older. So yeah.
Well, I was late.
I'm older and wiser.
I was late starting this when I fell asleep during the game. And I was like, I woke up like, oh, darn, I'm supposed to be alive right now. What I'm doing?
Well, I am definitely thankful that you guys had me come on and talk with you guys. I enjoyed talking with you guys a lot. I have a couple other friends that have been asking me to come on channels and stuff, and that's really exciting for me too, because it's like, hey, maybe people like what I'm saying or something, or maybe they just like me and personally, and I think that's fun both ways. But now everybody's scheduling and stuff like that. I'll try to jump in when I can jump in. I see you guys everywhere. I try to like and share and subscribe, even if you don't have a Facebook or a Twitter. I don't care. I try to do what I can do on my side. Again, I do have a buddy who started his YouTube channel, so he doesn't have a lot of viewers either. And anytime you guys can jump on his show, if you want to ever collab with him, he's a good guy. But, what you guys do on your own, that I support. I definitely enjoy it. I don't have all the ins and outs of YouTube, but I'm learning. And it's exciting, man. Every time you get together with people, good content creators, and you get a chance to express your opinion, it's fun because there are people listening, and it's always exciting. Maybe even the 49ers are listening. And as small as we are, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was watching my video I posted, and I got like 4 comments. I saw David's comment, and that's clever. But there's a Tom Brady comment. There's a Tom Brady comment. I don't know if I should say this because it's a little bit rude, but they're saying, Jimmy, if football is not his thing, he can do something that because he dated a woman who was in an industry, so. That's a little bit messed up.
Hey, so with Tom Brady getting divorced and our quarterback situation, even if I said this earlier, if we win the Super Bowl, I don't think Jimmy is going to be on our team next year, even if he wins the Super Bowl or gets a ring, whatever. But with the divorce with Tom Brady, what do you guys think the percentage or the possibility is of Tom Brady maybe becoming a Niner in the next year or two?
Nah.
No, it's like if you were watching the Falcons and Buccaneers, Tom Brady in the first 3 drives was clueless out there. He was very confused. He was like, "What am I not doing?" And then he was arguing with the referee, which he rarely does. And he didn't really look, like he was throwing a lot of his passes. He doesn't have the strength to throw the ball downfield no more. He did throw a few to Mike Evans. It's still there, but they showed a stat where he threw the ball 10 times to Leonard Fournette, 10 catches for 83 yards. And that was his only touchdown that he threw. He's 45 years old.
I have a feeling if he gets released this year and he reaches out to the Niners, this is the 3rd time they're going to take him. And I think they'll take him for a year, even if he can't, throw super far or whatnot. I think they'll take him for at least a year. He'll sell jerseys. So,
well, at the end of the day, like there's a few reasons why I'm not a Tom Brady fan. It has nothing to do with football. I've already told the story. Tom Brady. I met Tom Brady's father. I went to San Mateo, the city of San Mateo, not that far from my house, for a work thing. and he was at this little baseball park in the middle of San Mateo, the city, and he saw me, was very rude to me, and that's why I understand why Tom Brady is who he is. And of course, this is not the first time, he's separating from a woman. So this is not his first time. The first time was not publicized. So
that's why I'm still thinking there's a good chance because he's going to want to do what he wants to do. And if this is what he wants to do is continue playing football, and maybe he wants to move across country to play for his hometown team or whatever, I think if anybody can make it happen, he's going to do it. So I'm not gonna bet against it, and I'm not sitting here saying I'm rooting for it. Or I'm gonna go buy Tom Brady jersey, but I have a strong feeling this could happen, especially if Trey Lance isn't completely hit up.
Well, at this point, it's like right now, with Trey Lance being injured for the rest of the year, I would take Tom Brady. But with him coming back next year, the kid needs reps. I mean, we'd literally be wasting 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, let's put the Tom Brady little timeout. You drafted this kid, third overall. They were gonna sit him, no matter what anyone said. They were gonna sit him for 1 year. Unfortunately, they the Jimmy surgery, setback, yada yada. They brought back Jimmy Garoppolo for a situation in case Trey was not ready, if he was playing awful. And I'm not saying if the first game after the Bears, if Trey would have still been healthy, he would have still be the quarterback right now. Okay, but Jimmy's the quarterback. David is making a point. This guy has not played a lot of football. So if you are saying we have to bring Tom Brady, keep Jimmy for another year, or bring another quarterback, it's just idiotic. You have to play this kid. So
I agree. I agree 100%. But I'm just saying, ideally, what if Trey's not ready? The Niners kind of feel that. Tom Brady's available. Jimmy Garoppolo won the Super Bowl. We're letting him go. Tom Brady could come in and, like Cinderella story and retire. I think it's a good potential possibility. Whether or not it happens, I don't know if it's going to happen. I just think there's a good potential chance because, again, his heart's always been in San Francisco. Whether or not we want him to be our quarterback, he wants to be our quarterback. And I know Trey Lance needs reps and stuff, but if his ankle is worse than what we think it is, then they might sit him another year. The Yorks don't have a problem sitting players or overpaying for players. So I think next couple of months we'll definitely find if we do make it to the Super Bowl and Jimmy is our quarterback, Tom Brady's gonna be like, I can do that, guys. So I don't know.
Actually, I was thinking about this just before I hopped on the stream. Okay, if Jimmy Garoppolo wins the Super Bowl, he's gonna earn a new contract. Doesn't matter where. He's gonna earn a new contract, and he's gonna get paid good money. The problem is gonna be that people are gonna look at Kyle. Are you really willing to, sacrifice what you've done with Jimmy Garoppolo and bring in this new kid? It was just like last year. We made it to the NFC Championship game. Are you really willing to put Trey Lance after an NFC Championship season? Wasn't the perfect NFC Championship season, but it was an NFC Championship season no matter what. It's in the record books. And we should have been in the Super Bowl. I don't care if people are going to call me crazy, delusional. Tart, if you would have caught that game was sealed. Now, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be going after Jimmy Garoppolo. The question is going to be like, all right, it's not going to be Kyle Shanahan, and it's going to be Jed York. And if he wants to win Super Bowls, like he said, he wants to be like his uncle, then he has to make the decision for the team. And again, Jimmy has made it clear his agent does not want him here no more. Whatever happens, Jimmy's not going to be here next year. So I had this conversation with CG about a week before the season started. Trent Williams is 33, will be 34 next year. So he wants the Super Bowl. George Kittle is going to be, I think he's 29 now. So he's getting older. Deebo Samuel is going to be 27 by the end of the year or by the start of next season. This team is getting older. Our defense is young. Warner is like 25. Bosa's 23. Okay? And we have a lot of young players. But our line is developing as we're seeing it. Brunskill had to come in, and Jimmy played good with Brunskill because he has the experience. He's not Trent Williams, but he was at the left tackle for a few plays. He was on the left side a few plays. Kyle was shuffling up that offensive line. So we could talk about all these hypotheticals, but at the end of the day, as a fan who wants to see Super Bowls, you better have a real plan once Jimmy leaves, even if he wins the Super Bowl. That's why I said last year, bring in Marcus Mariota. Look what he's doing in Atlanta. He's playing actually good. He's playing like I saw him today. Yes, the offensive line is young. Their wide receivers are young, and he did a good play. Unfortunately, they were just trailing by 2 scores. So, and
what team?
The Falcons and Tampa Bay game.
Oh, call that game in. They almost came back though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna have my boy Blake on Saturday. Next Saturday, my boy Blake.
Falcons almost come back. Came back. It's just the penalties killed them.
Appearance on my channel, and he's gonna tell me the same thing. This Falcons is not a slouch. So the point.
Yeah, I know the Falcons aren't going to be slouches. That's why I have you guys only winning by 3 points, and rather than this week's pick'ems, I think that's one of the picks I'm spoiling, I believe. But yeah, I think you guys it'll be a close one. It won't be like a blowout like with the Panthers. Okay, I think it's going to come to the wire.
And all right, so at the end of the day, like that's the reason why, the podcast, whatever you want to call Grant, he's not a journalist, he's not a reporter, he's a podcaster.
The freelance podcaster, yeah.
The point of the matter is that if he was unbiased and who he is, and just judge the team, like his father says, and I listen to I watch his dad's show. When his father's on the show, he's very reasonable.
Singer? Okay.
He's very reasonable. Now, yes, I'm not a fan of him, but at the end of the day, like, you have really made Jimmy out to be like he is Nathan Peterman.
Yeah, the false narrative.
So
yeah, it happens.
And we were talking about this YTC because and I respect RJ or Giants Nation. He wants the flashy quarterback, but he loves his team. Unfortunately, he sees it like we need the flashy quarterback and we need the best defense. You cannot have both. You can have a competent quarterback and a great defense and a good offense, or you can have the best quarterback, overpay him, and make sacrifices on your team. So there's only one way to win a Super Bowl, and I'm not a Colin Cowherd, but Colin Cowherd, when the Niners were going to the Super Bowl, he says Jimmy Garoppolo is a competent quarterback, and that defense is explosive. That's how you win Super Bowls.
That's how I want to win Super Bowls, and that's how I've watched 2012. That's how I saw the Giants win Super Bowls. Competent quarterback play and defense winning championships, and decent receivers getting open. That's when I'm a believer in the team. Yeah, that's what I want to see us win our Super Bowls through defense and good coaching. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Like again, I'm just making a speculation, but I was the only person, and people mocked me. No one on this panel, but there were other people who mocked me. I said, if Jimmy Garoppolo has a good year, balls out, don't be surprised if Jimmy Garoppolo is playing or on the roster week 1. This was 13 months ago. 13 months ago. I've never been wrong with my analysis. I've been perfect. Okay. I said the Giants were going to be a dark horse team, and I'm not even a Giants fan. Giants are 4-1. Why am I so good? Because I know the game of football better than a lot of people. And I'm not trying to be arrogant or egotistical, but
I just watched the games, and I know. I just watched the games. That's all I can observe. The stats I save for later, but after that, I just look at the game and just go by the plays. Yeah.
And again, I don't want to be rude to some of because not everyone. Like there are a lot of good people who follow me, but the majority of our fan base are people who either play Madden and they think they know how to do things up.
Yeah,
or
franchise mode, and they think they're gurus now. Yeah,
and I don't want to use the derogatory word around. So you word emotional, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But because they have credentials, they have a big following on YouTube, they are who they are.
Yeah, and also because they're getting admiration from the people that are sucking up to them. The majority of them are going to believe to an egotistical standpoint that they're right about their takes when they're actually wrong to an extent, because no one's going to point it out unless they're called out. I've seen a lot of people like that on YouTube, even in my own fan base.
Yep. It's
all I gotta just say, if you're watching football, just watch the games. That's all I can give. My advice I can give you. If you want to learn the game, just watch the game. That's all. And observe the tendencies, observe the patterns both sides of the team like to run. It's all about finding tendencies and patterns and noticing trends around what's going on with the offense and defense and overall coaching. That's where you learn football right there, in my opinion.
And
good night, Dina.
Good night, Dina.
Good night, Dina.
Hey, Corey, David, John, YTC. You guys have a great night. I got to dip out too. I'll talk to you guys real soon.
Hey,
take care, man.
All right, Brian. Take it easy, bro.
All right, Brian.
Go Niners. Everybody stay faithful. Congratulations to Team 1.
Well, congrats on your win as well. Yeah.
And I'll talk to everybody real soon. You have a good night.
Hopefully we can get a winning streak. But anyway, one game at a time. That's my philosophy.
Exactly. One game at a time. Exactly. Yes, sir.
So I remember because I was not like a normal kid. I was not a normal kid. I did not, watch a lot of cartoons. I didn't do what a lot of boys are supposed to do when they're kids. So I was an outdoors kid. I loved playing sports. I was the only kid around grown men or college athletes, and I would hang out with them. And a lot of people were like, why is a little kid hanging out with grown men? Because most kids did not want to do what I wanted to do. Eventually, I made my first ever baseball team. I was 7 years old, but I was playing with 10 and 12-year-olds. I finally got some kids my age. I grew up, I got older, and those kids stopped playing sports and they did what other things that they wanted to do. Then I was an old kid around little kids, and I was teaching them how to do this and that. And that's how I became a coach. So basically, when I was 14 years old, I did not really have, my teenage years. That's what I did. I went to high school, and I finally met kids my age, and I have 10 close friends of mine who I call brothers, because our high school has this motto: "You are all brothers." It's a motto. So we still hang out, we still talk. A lot of us mostly talk because they don't live in the Bay Area anymore. Other people have moved out of state. Okay. But there's one dude who I still hang out with because I'm very close to his family. They live right there in San Bruno, which is, for those who have been to the Bay Area, it's a little township outside of San Mateo County, right underneath San Francisco. So, I still communicate with that wonderful family whenever he's in town. He's in LA, and every summer he comes out, we hang out, we talk, yada, yada. Then he goes back out there and does his job. So I've always been a sports person. So I remember watching the sports, in the late 90s, the only kid, I saw all that stuff. And I remember I saw the.
I was watching sports too, thanks to my uncle.
I saw the Ryan Leaf. I didn't see it live, but I saw on ESPN and Ryan Leaf, and the person was saying, hey, Ryan Leaf, why, you're making mistakes.
Oh, that interview.
He was being a reporter, and Ryan Leaf snapped. He's like, blah blah blah. This Ryan Leaf was
knock it off. I remember. Stop talking to me. Knock it off. I remember that video. So was it with Junior Seau had to pull him back?
Yeah,
Junior
players
Seau?
have always snapped at journalists, but the journalists are not like who, and they're gonna make a video.
They had thicker skin.
Kinlock came at me. He pointed at me. He was scared. So I'm gonna make fun of him. No, a reporter would write. okay, this guy is nuts, and they did it.
This
with
guy's
Walter.
aggressive.
Now
Nobody-
you have someone like him, and I know a lot of people like him. But you have someone like him who sarcastically is being sarcastic
Yo.
and being very messed up.
What's
So,
good?
oh, what's up, dude? My bad, I didn't hear you.
What up, John? Jay? Corey Davis?
Yep.
What's up, man?
Yeah,
Who's this?
this is Cook Smoke Sports.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I was like, I kind of got it from his name.
Yeah, I just, was listening, and I just wanted to join in and see what y'all was talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's your? See, Diva. Okay, so you're 49, huh?
Yeah, I know John Jay, like John JB. He always be live and shit.
Mhm.
I be on his channel too sometimes. And I seen y'all that was live talking about the game, so
Yeah.
wanted to see what y'all was talking about. Shit.
Yeah, we're talking about the Niners, but we're also talking about, how we did, this week, picking the teams, who won today. That's what we were doing.
Yeah, 9 and 6
But also,
weeks ago.
I was having like me and my boy Brian. If he's still listening, I love talking to Brian because he always, makes me, talk about stuff, and again, like I like Brian, his opinions. So we're talking about Lamar Jackson. He says Lamar Jackson doesn't have the right mechanics. I disagree with them, and we talk it out. And the conversation does get a little bit heated, but it's always fun. So that's what's going on. And then I'm also talking about I'm not the biggest fan of Grant Cohen.
I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Did I interrupt anyway?
No.
My bad. I didn't mean to.
Oh, you're good.
Are you good? So, how do you feel about the game?
I'm happy, man. We won. Of course, losing Bosa and Mosley, but you can't control injuries. You know what I'm saying? Kyle would have set guys and let his foot off the gas, then we would have been complaining about something. Like our fan base, we always complain about something.
Yeah.
We finally got our first blowout win of the year. So I'm just enjoying the win, to be honest. I know the guys are hurt, but we got a deep roster, and I feel like we're going to overcome the injuries.
Yeah. Hello, Dave.
Like, I'm not going to look at Bosa's out. If Mosley's out. And no, bro. Like, they hurt. I want them to come back. Of course. You know what I'm saying? You want the best for the team. But we got a deep roster. So we got to look at the bright side. Like, we got our first blowout win, and we sitting here complaining and bitching about injuries.
Yeah.
Enjoy the win. Get a drink.
Yep, we
Like,
won.
you know what I'm saying? Relax.
But it cost us a lot, though. But we won.
Just 1 week at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
How's it going,
Yeah.
JD?
How you guys doing tonight? How you guys doing?
I'm all good.
I got my beverage of choice here.
Nice.
That would have been me earlier, but we lost.
So I wanted to ask you, the Chargers, they won against the Browns. So I want to get your thoughts on that game.
The Browns shucks.
Me or him?
Dave.
No, you're the Browns fan, of course. Tough loss, man.
I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. The team don't suck. The head coach sucks. Kevin Stefanski.
Stefanski, damn.
He's not cut out for a head coach. He's a offensive play caller, but he can't run a game, and he's an analytics guy. Lets the computer make the decisions for him. And I'm not an analytics guy. I'm an old school where you get the feel in the moment. You make your decision. And you go by the feeling of the game. That's how you do it. There's a time to go for it. There's a time to take 3 points.
Most certainly.
He doesn't know that time. So we had we had a couple opportunities to win that game, and because of Stefanski and his play calling, and because basically he could not run a game efficient enough. And he can't. And analytics can kiss my ass. He's going all by analytics, and to me, I know all these teams and coaches are going by analytics. But you can't. There's still Bill Belichick's left that are doing it by your gut instincts and the feel for the game, and that's how it should be. But the game evolves, it changes. We got a talented roster. Brissett made a mistake. He forced a pass when he should have ran with it, and we had a kicker missed a 45-yard makeable field goal, and then he pulled a 54-yard field goal to the right where he had the distance. He had plenty of distance. He had a 54-yard field goal. It probably had another 10 yards on it. He pulled it to the right. So we had opportunities to win, and because of coaching, because Stefanski's holding this team back. Somebody's got to be held accountable. It comes down to the head coach. He's holding us back.
Hey, I got a question. What do you think about Joe Woods? Like, I got Joe Woods from us. He was our D-backs coach for years out here. What you think about him out there in Cleveland? How you feel about him?
Well, he has moments. He has moments where people after the game want him to be fired, but then he'll come back the next game and he'll coach a good game. So right now, I think for some reason more of the blame is being brought on Stefanski. So right now, 2 weeks ago I wanted to get rid of Woods, and now today it's like, well, now wait a second. I don't think it's all on Joe Woods. We got to get Stefanski held accountable. So Woods, I think he plays soft when he shouldn't play soft. He plays soft to the coverage when he shouldn't play soft, and he needs to get these guys to fly to the ball, because these guys are just going out there. They're just going through the motions, and they're not flying to the ball. They're not coming up with stops. They're not getting off the field on third down. They're not making stops on 3rd and 13. That's unacceptable. That drives me out of my mind.
I can agree.
I would say Joe Woods has the rest of the season left to prove he can still earn a spot as a job. I wouldn't let him go right now. It might be heading that way. Unfortunately, Stefanski's going to use Woods as a scapegoat. So he's gonna. This is my theory. This is my personal. This is my little crystal ball. What I think is going to come back on Stefanski as the head coach, and he's going to use Joe Woods as an scapegoat, and he's going to get Jimmy Haslam to fire Joe Woods, or I don't know if you want to demote Joe Woods back to defensive backs coach. I don't think it would benefit us to get a new defensive coordinator right here in the middle of the season. We'd have to promote somebody else within. So, if he's got the tools and he knows how to coach, he needs to fix it. He needs to fix it right now, because we're going into week 6. So Joe Woods, I don't know if he can become a good defensive coordinator or not. Best answer I can give you for that, because I can't give you a clear-cut answer. I don't want to say he sucks and he's a bum and you got to get rid of him. I want to say the jury's still out. He'll have a good game one week, and then he'll come back the next week. It looks like he needs to be fucking fired. So he's inconsistent. He's really inconsistent. So for right now, these several next games are going to determine where he's at next year. So he's how should I say it? Jury's still deliberating. Me, I feel we can upgrade. If I had to make the decision myself, I feel we can upgrade at a defensive coordinator position next offseason. So I would have to say that's the best answer I give you. I would say that position needs upgraded. You need to make an upgraded defensive coordinator. And I would say not now, not during the season, and unless Joe Woods really starts to turn it around and spark something. But at the rate he's going right now, I would say Mr. Woods will be replaced in the offseason. That's the best answer I can give you. That makes any sense. I'm all over
Very
the place.
reasonable.
I'm all over the place, but what do you want me to say, man? I'm not firing him today. I'm not firing him right now. There's people in Cleveland and me. They want him fired right now.
I mean, you're only one game below 500. You can still come back. The season's not over yet. Only one game below 500.
These were the easier games. The schedule gets tougher. And I tell you what.
Yeah, the Patriots are no slouches this year.
We could very easily be 4-1 right now because we had that New York Jets game, and when you look at it, we really had that Atlanta game. We could easily be 5-0 with playing weak teams, and then start taking our losses. But the other thought that went through my mind, if you believe in curses and jinx, I bet you there's a Deshaun Watson jinx or a curse. Because I tell you what, I won't even be able to put Deshaun Watson on my Facebook profile page. I got Jacoby Brissett on there right now. And then when Watson starts, I'll probably switch the picture back to Nick Chubb. Now, another player that I want to call out for Cleveland. All right. And I'll say this next week. I'll say this the week after. Myles Garrett is a dumbass, and this is why. I don't care how good he plays. I don't care how good he plays. Any moron fool that's going to get in their Lamborghini or whatever car he had Camaro or some fucked up sports car, and hot rod 65 and a 45 and roll it. He's lucky he didn't die. He rolled the motherfucker and get fucked up and miss a game for that with a shoulder injury. Anybody does that is a dumbass. And we had a similar thing happen with Kellen Winslow Jr. back in the 2005 season. It was starting his second year after his rookie year. He bought a Ninja bike. He went flying off a Ninja bike, and he tore his ACL on a Ninja bike accident. And he was hot rodding in a parking lot. Went flying through bushes. Hot rodding in a parking lot, just fucking around on it. Tore his ACL and missed the whole 2005 season. So Myles Garrett's a dumbass. Plus, Myles Garrett was playing basketball last summer, taking risks. So he's a dumbass who takes unnecessary risks, and he's not going to have any shot at getting the what do you call it?
A contract?
Getting on a sack leaders list. I'm not saying the top sack. He's not going to be very high up on the like your top 5 sack leaders. I don't think he'll even make top 5 this year. So you can forget that. I don't know.
Oh, we love
we got. I tell you what. Before you go, Corey, and then I'll let you talk. The two main problems we have with the Cleveland Browns, we have a media problem for one, because we got 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland that runs players and coaches out of town all the time. They start the shit, and everybody jumps on it and runs with it. They want to get rid of Mayfield, they got rid of him. They want to get rid of this coach, they get rid of him. The other problem we have is an owner problem that Jimmy has, where when his front office staff, they make a decision, the decision made is pending his approval. He'll let his staff make the decisions they want to make. After they make that decision, he looks at it and he'll approve it or deny or not approve it. It's pending his final approval. There's times when he overrides their decisions and says, no, I want to go this way with it. No, man. That Mr. Haslam, my opinion, Mr. Haslam can't even run a fucking hot dog stand, let alone a professional NFL franchise, my opinion. You look at his other business with the Flying J and the Pilots, where he got caught up in that diesel fuel rebate scam. That guy's a thief. That guy's a crook. And the NFL, you're going to tell me the National Football League, they screen these owners so that they're legitimate ownership? Well, there's some shady background with Jimmy Haslam. If Jimmy Haslam keeps his nose out of it and just lets the franchise run itself, so to speak, we might be able to do okay. But if he gets too involved, it was his decision to draft Johnny Manziel. It was his decision to go with Hugh Jackson. It was his decision to go with Hugh Jackson after Hugh Jackson started out 1-31. It was his decision to let that organization tank out and signed 22 rookies to an active roster in 2016. 22 rookies on an active roster is unheard of. Out of the 22 rookies, 12 of them were undrafted free agents. They were just walk-ons. They were nobodies. So, but anyways, Corey, what were you going to tell me? Because I'm rambling now. I don't need to rant. I don't need to rant. I ran it. I don't need to keep ranting at Ray.
So
but it is what it is.
Who's your week 6 opponent?
See, I was so pissed off with this loss. I didn't even look. I need to go look. Anybody got the schedule?
It's the Patriots.
At New England or in Cleveland?
It's in Cleveland.
Well, New England just blanked Detroit, and Detroit was the highest scoring offensive team.
Yeah, they were averaging 45 points coming into that game. Yeah,
we
completely
always
shut them down.
We always suck against New England. Stefanski will screw it up. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have. I don't know who they're going to have ready for quarterback. They still got a third string quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter.
Bailey Zappi. Yep, Bailey Zappi.
Belichick's a head coach. He's a head coach. He's not an analytics guy. Belichick's a head coach. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about Bill Belichick, how because me and my boy Brian, he left earlier, talking about.
Anyways, I gotta go. He's live right now. I'll see you guys.
All right, cool.
What you talking?
All right,
later.
Yeah, so me and my boy Brian, we're talking about because Kyle Shanahan, he's set in his weird ways, and it's always put a setback on the Niners. But Bill Belichick, as I was telling my boy Brian, you're right. He's not an analytics guy. He's not. I don't know why, the new NFL coaches want to use a damn computer to, justify certain fourth down situations or not kick a field goal or not punt the ball, whatever. But at the end of the day, like Bill Belichick has 6 rings. He's always had a good defenses. And that's what you want from a coach. But unfortunately, we cannot always find that Bill Belichick for our organization. So, yeah, I agree. Bill Belichick, the Bailey Zappi, their third string quarterback. I think he's better than Mac Jones. Call me crazy. He did a pretty good job. Against the Packers. They still lost, but as long as there's a competent defense and Bill Belichick, it doesn't matter who your quarterback there. Even when Cam Newton was there, Cam Newton was 7 and 8, and he didn't throw double-digit touchdowns, but they still won 7 or 9 games, You
want me to say one good thing about Stefanski? I bashed him, okay, and I ran it. Now, you want me to say something good, something positive about the guy as a head coach?
Yeah. Okay.
Between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, they averaged 38 carries a game between the two of them. Chubb's been getting about 20 carries, which is right where I would like to quit Chubb. If Chubb gets 20 carries, he could have 25 touches. But as far as carries, I'd like 20 carries is max, because if Chubb can play 16, 17 games with 20 carries, that's over 320 on the year. You don't want your featured back having over 320, 330 carries a year. That's a back's load. And if Kareem Hunt gets maybe 15 carries, you're looking at your 35 to 37 carries a game between 2 running backs. So that's the good thing he has done. There's talent on the roster, but he cannot. I'm not going to say coach a game. I'll say it again. When it comes down to winning the fucking thing in the fourth quarter, he cannot run the game to win. And it's analytics is holding us back. Stefanski's holding us back. It's a matter of time that 92-3 the fan is going to run him out of town. But the good thing, again, with the 2 running backs, nobody can bitch and say, well, he's not running the ball enough. He's running the hell out of the fucking ball. Mm-hmm. So that's the one good thing he's doing. That's why Brissett looks – I'm not going to say Brissett looks good. I mean, he looks efficient and consistent. In other words, he looks comfortable. When he's got the ball, I'm not saying, oh shit, Brissett, man, he's gonna I'm not doing that. I'm not holding my breath when he's touching off. Brissett because there's pressure taken off them with running as many carries as they're getting. Jacoby has done better than I thought he would. I thought Brissett was going to really suck bad, but he's been acceptable and efficient and consistent. Is what I'll say as a backup. He's doing what you like a backup to be able to do.
All right, Corey. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna go say hello to another person, but have a good night, guys.
All right, you too.
Yeah. All right, Corey. I'm chasing guys off of here, but here we go.
We guys, I believe this week we got looking into another kicker because we got our kicker hurt.
It's a knee contusion. I was just looking at that stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know how long. It's his left knee too. I don't know. That's his plant leg. So that really could be something.
Yeah. And then we're going to probably be missing Nick Bosa for a few games.
What's he going to be out with?
Groin.
He had groin tightness, so they're not sure if it's like the greatest strain or anything like that yet.
Are they saying it's not a pole? If it's a pole groin, that's a little more serious, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, they're just saying tightness, so go get it checked out Monday, Tuesday, and we'll hear something. We'll hear more info then.
Well, I mean, if that's what it is, to me, I think that's better than a pulled groin. A pulled groin, you got some time you're going to miss some time with a actual pulled groin.
Oh yeah, George Kittle, our tight end, just had a pulled groin. He missed the first 3 weeks, I think.
Yep.
So, what Jimmy G do anyways? How'd he do?
He did good today, but
who'd you guys have? Who'd you guys have?
Huh?
Who'd you guys have?
What do we have?
Who'd you play?
Carolina. We played against your quarterback.
Now, how'd you guys let Carolina and Mayfield win against you, man? Mayfield ain't doing that hot.
We beat them 37-15
over Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the wrong score then. I thought Carolina won that. Okay, so I wasn't looking right. All right.
Yeah, we won. We beat them.
How bad was Mayfield's numbers? Can you look it up? I could. I don't want to switch to the screen, or I might bump myself off.
Yeah.
Hold up, I got it.
I'm not too good at it right now. Doing two things on this one. Baker Mayfield, though, we beat him up.
All right, Mayfield was 20 for 36, 215 yards, 1 INT, and he got sacked 6 times. Dang.
Yeah.
The thing I've seen with Mayfield is he can't get the ball over the top of the line of scrimmage. He has the most batted balls down if he throws from the pocket. If they can roll him out, when he rolls out of the pocket, he throws well. But the problem there is, and I know you all know this, it's a fact that if you have a design play where it rolls out to the right, so he throws with his right hand, and don't have to turn his shoulders around. Now you're only going to hit 2/3 of the field. Whereas if you sit in the pocket comfortably, you're going to throw it from sideline to sideline, inside the numbers or even outside the numbers. But once you roll out to say to your right, you want to roll right, throw right, you're only going to hit targets to 2/3 of the field. So defenders can blanket the opposite side of the field and shut that shit down. So Mayfield, until he can get the ball over the line of scrimmage, because he gets a lot of balls batted at the line of scrimmage. If you guys watch the game today, how many batted balls did your defense have on? You guys batted some down, didn't you?
No, we didn't. We only they did it. Their offensive line did pretty good, keeping our defensive line hands down. So he got to throw the ball, but he threw it. He threw a lot of times. He hesitated on the ball, and he ended up incomplete or throwing an interception because he threw and we had a pick six, and that was it. And then our defense was attacking him, and he came up at halftime. He was limping, so he had some kind of injury. At the end of the game, they ended up letting him come out of the game, and his backup came in. And
Mayfield.
So the backup.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you go back to that 2018 draft, and everything's 2020 hindsight now, okay, it's obvious that Josh Allen was the best quarterback of that draft class, which he was taken 6th overall to Buffalo. It had Cleveland took a chance on Josh Allen and drafted him number 1 overall. I just didn't know how that kid was going to do coming out of University of Wyoming. I really didn't. I know he could throw the ball 75 yards and all this and that. He's excelled as a Buffalo Bills. He's their guy now, and he's locked in. So,
yeah,
Cleveland might have been set up pretty good if they would have gone that route. Because see, now we just squandered the 1st overall draft pick of 2018. We had the 1st overall draft pick of 2017 and got it with Myles Garrett, but then Myles Garrett goes out and wrecks his car. He rolls his car over and misses a game. It's just stupid shit. You don't expect these guys to be partaking in. So, what was Jimmy G draft? Was Garoppolo a 3rd round, 2nd round?
2nd rounder by the Patriots.
I still say I got this theory until somebody gets me to quit using this and bringing this up. I thought Bill Belichick wanted to make the next quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and Robert Kraft said, "Nah, man, we're going to trade this guy." Robert Kraft stood in and said, "Nah, we're going to trade him." And I think that, I believe if Jimmy G would have stayed, if Belichick would have had his way and kept that Jimmy G up there, I believe Garoppolo would have excelled up there in New England to some degree. Playing with Coach Bill under his system, I think he could have.
And then it's kind of like, who would the Niners end up with at that point? I mean, they'd have had to go all in on Kirk Cousins or something like that, or we would have had to go all in.
Oh man, Cousins, no man, that's too much. I mean, Cousins puts up the numbers. He throws 4,200 yards a year, which is good, and he throws 28 to 32 touchdowns a year. I mean, his stats are good, but he doesn't win playoff games. He doesn't win a whole lot of games.
Yeah.
He's like a 500 type guy, maybe just a little slightly above 500 as far as win-loss records. I mean, he'll get a lot.
I know Vikings. I know a lot of Vikings fans always say they want to get rid of Kirk Cousins.
Well, and then the reason I had to say this about Garoppolo was when San Francisco drafted Trey Lance, was Trey Lance number 3, 3rd overall?
He's number 1st and number 3. Yeah.
Right. He was 3rd overall in the 1st round. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When San Francisco drafted Trey Lance to replace Garoppolo, it's like, well, where was this Garoppolo at? Where was he? Where does he fit in at? So Garoppolo would have done a hell of a job there in New England, and he still did good there in San Francisco. But yeah, I can see where New England would have benefited if Bill Belichick would have had his way. That was a good situation for Jimmy G to be in up there in New England.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was
Oh my God.
we first got Jimmy. I was like, okay, cool, we got somebody. And I liked the way things he was running, the way he was doing. But then after he got hurt, and like after he came back from that Achilles injury, he wasn't the same. And then in 2019, yes, we went to the Super Bowl. And we couldn't keep, we was been having trouble keeping the lead. Kyle Shanahan seems haven't won the big one yet. And that's what I'm waiting for. He might be just like, can't win the big ones. So we got to get the Super Bowl and we win this one. And if Jimmy wins, I think.
Here's what I found.
I'm not talking to your phone. If Jimmy wins Super Bowl, it's gonna be all season. Gonna be, should we keep Jimmy? Should we resign Jimmy and trade Lance? And or should we go with, it's gonna be another back and forth between our fan base if Jimmy wins the Super Bowl.
What kind of injury did Trey Lance sustain?
Ankle, broken ankle.
Broken bones, specifically broken bones. He didn't tear any ligaments, tendons, anything like that.
And see, this is my thing. This is what I want. Hopefully, I wish I could talk to Coach Cal and say, I want you to go watch. I know you could go back and watch when Steve Young was quarterback. He's a mobile quarterback, but he uses legs when he had to. He wasn't running the ball. Bill Walsh or George Seifert wasn't making him as a running back and running the ball. Only time he ran is when he had to. He mostly threw the ball. That's what I want out of
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. I want Trey Lance to be used like Steve Young. Run the ball if you have to. Be mobile, but throw that ball. But with Cal, he seems like he wants to use Trey Lance as a running back. And if he does this, Trey Lance not gonna last that long. Gonna have to shorten his career. You see that running backs right now don't last long. The careers don't go. And right now the NFL ain't paying for running backs. They can't get the high contracts because running backs don't last long, man. Because they take a beating. And see, Cleveland Browns almost had Jimmy.
Yeah, I didn't know how close Garoppolo was to getting traded or possibly coming to Cleveland. I was looking at that when it was being brought up because we didn't know. Yeah, I just hope Brissett don't go down with an injury or have to miss time. He's got, for some reason, Brissett played this game today with a with a brace on his left knee, and he didn't have that brace on last game. So and nobody reported any type of a knee injury for him. So I don't know if maybe he had a ACL strain. I'm going to call it a strain, or maybe an ACL slight sprain, mild sprain. Let's call it an ACL strain where he strained it. He's just wearing that brace now for support. So
Yeah.
He was moving good on it, but he's got that brace on. When people see that brace on a quarterback, some guys will try to take a cheap shot at you and try to put you out because you're wearing that damn thing.
So next week we have Atlanta.
That's a win. That should be a win for Frisco.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close game, and it depends on too how we gonna get who we gonna get to be our field goal kicker. Can Robbie Gold come? Is Robbie Gold gonna be ready for that? Is his knee gonna be plant leg gonna be ready? Can he make the kicks, or is it going? Are we gonna bring in another kicker? Because right now, boy, I just hate that we get all these injuries, that we have to lose a lot of these players.
Well, so I mean, our depth is definitely being tested right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to left tackle, I want to see Brunskill out there. He did good in 2019 when he was filling in for Joe Staley. When he went in today, Jimmy G actually had time from, specifically the left spot. Jalen Moore is not a left tackle. I look at Jalen Moore like he's a good backup guard, but that's about it. That's about it for the guy. Colton Mikovits actually doesn't do too bad at tackle. He's okay. I wouldn't say he's anything good. I'd say he's average. But we need Brunskill at left tackle. And then we're McGlinchey, his pass protection is still slacking. Yeah. But it's been average. Run blocking's good, but he's a free agent. So we're probably going to be losing him if he doesn't sign for cheap.
Well, is that McGlinchey still? Is he on his fifth? Did they pick up his 5th-year option of his rookie deal?
They did, and that's this year, I believe.
Okay, so he's on his 5th-year option right now.
Yeah. And
so I don't know what they're going to do at the right tackle spot. Maybe sign a veteran.
Well, McGlinchey was a first-round draft pick. I mean, if he still holds that grade, I would consider re-signing the guy.
I don't think he's holding that grade. I mean, he should be a better pass protector than he is. So, I mean, the Niners would probably be better off getting a guy that's an upgrade over him in pass protection.
Well, then to me, that means he's a bust if he ain't going to get a second contract with.
That's right. That's how I'm looking at it.
I mean, he's a first-round bust. I mean, he'll still play for somebody, but if he can't earn a second contract with then he should have been drafted in a lower round. He's a third, fourth round grade or something.
He was taken 9th overall too. He should be like a Pro Bowl caliber tackle.
Yeah, which means he would already have his franchise contract signed with Frisco and all that. So it sounds like he's a first round bust.
Yeah.
I know we're not going to take him in Cleveland, and that's getting back on my rant. See, there's no if you want to hold people accountable within the organization, there's no saying, oh, well, the offensive line sucks or this sucks. We have an all-pro caliber offensive line. and we got one of the best dual tandem running backs. So there's none of this. Well, they can't run the ball. Well, they don't have an offensive line. Nah. And it's now we're not loaded at wide receiver. And to me, you need 3 real good wide receivers, and you need to have them all 3 on the field at the same time. Your slot receiver and your 2 wideouts. We're not loaded at wide receiver. We got Amari Cooper, and he's good. He gets open. And the reason I like Amari Cooper is not so much as far as, numbers and flashiness and all this, but when he scores a touchdown, he simply hands the ball back to the referee, and he just goes back to sideline. I mean, that's what Jim Brown did back when he played. That is, he's not taunting the opponent. He's not dancing and doing all that stupid ass shit. Problem with Jarvis Landry when he played wide receiver for us. Landry got more taunting penalties because after he caught the ball and caught a spectacular catch for a first down or a touchdown, he would get in the face of the opponent and he'd start saying shit and trash talk and saying shit you can't be saying, that they throw the flag for the taunting penalty or unsportsmanlike conduct. You know it. Keep your mouth shut. Go back to your bench.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to celebrate if you win the game. But this shit that they carry away saying was Cooper's real. He's class act, man. He's like Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb does the same thing. He hands the ball to the ref and he goes back to the sideline. I'm not saying these guys aren't allowed to celebrate their touchdowns and all that, because their emotions are so high, but it's gotten to the point to where it just seems like I've got more respect for the guy that controls his emotions. And then after the game's over, if you want to get emotional, then after you win the fucking game and you earn that W, then go out there and celebrate. Or go to the bar after the game, or the nightclub, wherever they go after the game, where they hang out at down in the flats and celebrate. But and we got David Njoku, a tight end that's coming around now, which he should. He was a first-round draft pick. And then we got Donovan Peoples-Jones. So we don't have an all-out arsenal of wide receivers. And anymore, since it's a passing game and it's hybrid and speed, you need 3 top wide receivers and a clutch tight end like you got with George Kittle, and you need to be loaded. You need to have an arsenal loaded to go with the air raid. That's what the game's come down to. I understand that. So as long as Cooper does not get injured, and Njoku doesn't get injured, if they can make it the whole season, at least we'll have 2 targets to throw to. That's not much. I mean, opposing defenses can shut that down and take that away.
Yeah. Well, I'm calling it a night.
Before you do, you guys got Samuel, and who else? You got Debo Samuel, and who's the other ones?
Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings. He's the bigger body slot receiver, but is also a good red zone threat. And we got Ray McLeod, who's kind of a speedster, and then beyond that, it gets kind of gray. I mean, we got Malik Turner, who's been a good number 3 on a couple teams.
Who's Danny
Gray's he's a speedster. He's a rookie speedster, but you can't really use him with Jimmy G because Jimmy G doesn't throw deep.
Who's Kittle's backup if he's out with an injury, or if you go with a 2 tight end set?
Charlie Warner.
Charlie Warner and Ross Drelly.
And when we have Robert Kraft, and he's hurt. He won't be back for a few more weeks.
Yeah.
But I mean, we actually signed. Who was that guy that we signed in 2020? Jordan Reed. That guy was on the Skins or the football team or the command. Oh my goodness, whatever the hell their name is, it's horrible. But Jordan Reed, that tight end, that was a long time Redskin. We had him for a year, but that didn't work out. Shanahan wanted to use a double tight end set, but they never seems to want to go after another tight end to actually make that happen.
See, and that's another thing. Cleveland had Kyle Shanahan as offensive coordinator in oh man, I want to say it was 2014. Yeah. We had Kyle Shanahan as offensive coordinator in 2014, and then the 2015 season, I don't know what part of the 2015 season, maybe week 8, week 7. You guys might know this better than me. Kyle Shanahan asked Cleveland if they would release him from his remaining contract. Not pay out what he had remaining, just release him. Let him go. And they did. They granted his wish, and they just released him from his remaining contract. No money or nothing. They just let him go. So we've had decent. We've had him there in Cleveland that might have done something for us if we could have kept him happy. So, I mean, Cleveland doesn't keep people happy or something. There's some. We're cursed. Franchise has never been what it was the day Art Modell fired head coach Paul Brown. And Paul Brown, his legacy lives on today, just the same as Vince Lombardi, his legacy, what these guys did. And George Halas of the Chicago Bears, these guys that started out as the game evolved before it's evolved to where it's at today. I mean, what those guys implemented in their offenses and whatnot is why you have what you have today. That's what it's evolved into. So, like I said, Bill Walsh, I'll always tell you guys that Bill Walsh was Paul Brown's right-hand man and the assistant head coach in Cincinnati before he took the job out there in San Francisco. And the West Coast offense, all those plays that they ran with Joe Montana, it's Paul Brown's playbook. Well, it's Bill Walsh's playbook, but they're all plays taken out of Paul Brown's plays, and it earned the name West Coast offense. That's fine, but so it'll be interesting to see if Kevin Stefanski could become a full-time head coach and let our offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt call the plays. Because Stefanski's got his head in that Denny's menu when he needs to be running the game, all aspects of the game as a head coach. The responsibility as a head coach, you run that fucking game. So that's all I got for you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to end this.
All right.
All right.
Well, go 49ers. The one thing we can't do is look past the Falcons. I mean, they're actually playing pretty good. So, all right, guys, have a good night. Thanks for having me on, Corey.
All right, peace out.
Take
See
me
you
easy,
Wednesday.
Yep, I'll be here.
All right, take care, Corey.
All right, Dave. And Dave. I got 2 days. All right. Time for me to end this. I'm going to do the countdown. I ain't do the countdown in the beginning. I fell asleep. Where is it? Here we go.